this one and fine. So today class is very, very, very important, guys. Okay. Yesterday I started computing, right? By the time of computing, now I created some virtual machine, EC2 virtual machine. So by the time of creating a virtual machine, so there we seen some kind of networking like VPC something, right? So we need to go for understand that particular EPC and everything. So before we are deeping into our subject, before we are moving into the VPC, okay, what agenda of this particular session I can explain you. So give me a minute of time. Whiteboard. So, Microsoft Whiteboard. Okay. Yeah. Class attend out Lavendra. Hmm? Okay. So what exactly we could know? We could start, or I want to explain what this particular session. See, guys, when we are talking about AWS, EC2 instance or whatever it is, okay, so make sure that you need to know that IP addressing, okay, and subnetting, okay, and VPC. So regarding about VPs and everything, I can explain you once I explain that, once I shared with the knowledge on IP addressing and subnetting, okay. So the importance of IP addressing and subnetting, it's a very, very, we need to understand actually. If you're not understood, then it could be very tough to get into subject. Okay. Fine. So I can give you overview, or else I can give you the template information so that you will get to know that. Okay. So what is IP addressing? So make sure that when you are starting learning of AWS, you should have some basic knowledge of networking. Okay. So my first question is, what is IP addressing? What is IP address?
Internet protocol.
Internet protocol. Okay. It's abbreviation, right? The question is, what is IP address?
It's a kind of a address or numbers that where we can.
So for example, if you have one particular device, it's an electronic device, any electronic device. Okay. It's a device. Okay. Electronic device. So how we can identify this electronic device?
By
And for
using
example,
IP address.
any electronic device, it could connect to the internet. Okay. If it has to be, it has the capability to connect the internet. Okay. Or else any electronic device. Okay. So how we can, every electronic or any electronic device, it can connect to the internet, then it could identify with particular number. That number we are calling it IP address. Okay. So it's the internet protocol, as you said. So when coming to this particular IP address, there we have two type of IP addresses are there. There is a two versions. What are the versions here? IP version 4 and second one is IP version 6. Okay. So any electronic device, it could identified with one number. That number we are calling it say IP address. So this IP address is basically, we have a two versions are there. One is IP4 and second one is the IP6. So what is IP4 and what is IP6? And I'm not talking about IPv6. It's a, it's a having a lot many IP addresses are there. Okay, like IP4 in the sense. So here we have the one number. Okay, so here we have one number. So here X is one number, X dot, Y dot, Z dot, W. Just for sake of understanding. Okay, so here we have the 8 bits. The W indicating that it's 8 bit. That means, so here we have the 8 bits. Okay, so 8 into 4, how much? 32 bit. So that means you have the 32 bit long. Okay, 32 bits. We have the 32 bit. So IPv4 in the sense it could be 32 bit. When coming to the IPv6, so here we have the 6 and each bit, which we have the 8 bytes. Sorry, 6 bytes. Okay, so 6 into 8, how much? It's a 64, right? 64 or something else?
48.
I'm not exactly this one. Okay. Okay. So here, that 4 plus 4 4 4. Here only we have 16. So 16 into 6, how much?
96.
Something 128, something will be there. I'm not exactly. Okay, fine. So I would like to talk about IP4 actually. I'm not talking about IP6. Okay, so and even we are not using IP6, IPv6 at this moment. We are talking about IPv4. Okay. When coming to the IPv4, and so it could be the 32 bit. What it is? It could be 32 bit of IP address, which means it could start with a 0 and 0 and 0 and 0. Okay, so here this particular 0, it can be 8 bits, right? So 0 indicating that 0 0 0 0 0. Here we have the 8 zeros. Okay, and here also we have the 8 zeros, and here also we have the 8 zeros, and here also we have the 8 zeros. Okay, now 2, we have the here we have the 8 ones, and here we have the 8 ones, and here we have the 8 ones, and here we have the 8 ones. So when we have the 8 ones, what is the value of it is? Can you tell me? If you have the 8 bits and the 8 bits are the 8 ones, then what is the value of, what is the decimal number for this particular binary bit, binary
8.
number? Huh?
8 it is.
For example, I have
One.
the 8 bits, and these 8 bits are the 8 ones. Then what is the value of, this is my binary number? What is the value of, this is my binary number? What is the value of decimal number for this particular binary number? Okay, this is 0 position, 2 power 0 1, and this is 2 power 1 2, this is 2 power 3, it's a sorry, 2 power 2 4,
30, sir.
2 power 3 8, and 2 power it's a 32 sorry 16, and 32 64 and 128. So when you sum of this all, then how much we are getting? 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, how much?
255.
255. Okay, that means the IPv4, which starts with the 00002, and it could be ends with the 255.255.255.255. That means any IP address, it could be range in between the this particular range only, this address range only. Clear? Is it clear? So IPv4, the IP address range, it could be starts with 0.0.0.0.02, 255.255.255.255. Okay, so this is the IP addresses. This is the IP addresses. It could be classified into 5 classes. What are the classes? Class A, and class B and class C. Okay, and class 4, sorry, class D. Okay, the last one is class E. Okay, see the total, this all, 0.0.0.0.02, 255.255.255.255. Okay, it could be classified into 5 classes. Okay, and so in class A and in class B and in class C we have something, some IP range. And coming to this D and E, we are not using actually. This is for some kind of reserve. They are reserved for some I want to show you. Okay. Yep. You can see. You can see here. Here we have the five classes, right? Class A, class B, class C, and class D, and class E. So the class A, we have the 1.0.0.12, 126.255.255.255. Okay, this is the range, address range, which is allocated for the class A. So basically the class A, it could be used large companies like an AWS or else internet service providers. They are using this IP ranges. Okay, and coming to the class B, some it could be starts with 128.1.0.12, 191.255.255.254. This range of IP addresses we are calling it same class B. So basically this class B, it could be used some kind of medium companies, okay, or else universities, or else educational institutions. Okay, small based companies, they will use the class B IP addresses. Okay, and coming to this one, 192.0.1.2, 1.12, 223.255.254.254, it could be used for some kind of home application or individuals like we all. Okay, so this is for individuals. It could be used by some individuals, and it could be allocated for some kind of medium scale companies, and it could be allocated for large based companies. Okay, so I hope you're clear, right? Rest of this D and E, it could be reserved for some kind of multitask grouping, or else it could be used for some kind of research and development. Okay, and that's fine. Now, did you get any kind of doubt over here? For example, if we have IP range, it could be starts with 0.0.0.0.02.255.255.255. Okay. Okay. Did you get any kind of doubt over here? So 255 into 255 into 255 into 255, right? So if you multiply this one, you will be getting some number. So that is the IP numbers are there. That many IP numbers are there, or that many IP addresses are there. Okay. See, in Earth, there are so many people are there, so many electronic devices are there, right? If each and every electronic device which is allocated this number, then this all IP addresses could be lost, right? Maybe it is not it could be I demand, right? Yes or no? But how we are managing this all IP addresses? Okay, for that particular thing, we need to aware of it. Private IP and public IP. I just want to give some kind of use case, the importance of the private IP and public IP. Okay. For example, you are working with one particular company. Okay. And this is the organization. It could use some servers. Okay. And each and every server, it could have the IP address one, right? And it could have some kind of IP address, right? And there it could, we have another organization. Okay. And they're also using IP address one, and they're also using the IP address. Okay. And you know what? These are all IP address. Let me consider it's a public IP address. Okay. And this IP address is also, just imagine, this all IP address also, it could be like public IP addresses. by the time this server and this server can be communicated or not? Yes or no? That means you might be getting some kind of security issues, or else cyber hackers can be attacked into your organization and they can theft your data, right or not? Yes or no? And moreover, 255 into 255 into 255 and 255, if the number of if the number of electronic devices are increases, maybe we have to we have to buy the IP addresses can be lost. I mean, it can be over, right? Okay, then how we can manage these things? Here we have the IP addresses. So this organization, it could have the IP addresses. They are not giving public IP address. They are using the some kind of private IP addresses, and they are also using some kind of private IP addresses. Okay, and here these private IP addresses are same. Sometimes here we have some kind of private IP addresses are there. It could be here also could be same actually. Okay, even though even the private IP addresses are same, these two cannot be communicated. Okay, because which are not public. If and only if the IP address is public, then only we can connect to the internet. Okay, let me consider this is internet. Okay, if any two devices are communicating in a sense through remotely, it could have the internet, right? Okay, and this is one server. This is one server, and this is public server. Okay, public IP. Then this one, you can connect internet as well as internet. From internet also we can connect without any translations and nothing. Okay, so guys, yep. So here we have internet, right? So if something, it could be public IP, so anybody can be communicated to internet, or internet also, from internet also, and anybody can access your system. Okay, so so that is the exactly public IP. When coming to the private IP, okay, when coming to the private IP, so this device, it cannot be connected to the internet directly. Okay, I want to show you some example. I want to show you some kind of example. Okay, just open command prompt, and so you can find this one, like if config. Okay, if config, right? So you can see here, this is the private IP address or public IP address. We don't know. The reason is that I'm not explaining that, what the range of private IP address, what the range of public IP address, I'm not explaining. So far, it's just an IP address. Okay, but I'm saying that it's a private IP address. I'm saying that it's a private IP address. Okay, we can try to ping. Okay, you can use the command is ping and followed by this IP address. We cannot send any data. Let me see. I want to see that I want to find the IP address of Google. IP. How can you find the IP address of Google? NS lookup, right? NS lookup. This is the command. It could help you for finding the any IP address of DNS, like www.google.com. Okay, now fine. See guys, this is Google IP address. Okay, we can. I want to ping from my computer. Ping 142 dot. Okay, and 255 dot and 115 dot. Okay, and 106. See here, what happens? It is pinging or not? Is it pinging or not? That means from your local computer, we are sending the data to the Google. The reason is that here this is the IP address. It would be the public IP address. This is public IP address. See, this IP address it's a private IP address. You can try to ping from from your computer, like you just open CMD and you can try to ping from from the command line. You can try to execute the command is ping and followed by this IP address. This is my local this is my local PC IP address. So you can try to ping a data from your local computer to my computer, okay, which is not possible. Which is not at all possible. Why? Because this IP address is private IP address and this IP address is public IP address. If something is public, anybody can connect or anybody can communicate. Okay. If something is private, no one can communicate with you directly. Is it clear or not?
One question.
Yes.
Yeah, IP address is allocated to the device, right? You're saying like for website, you're
The website
checking
is also
that.
on device only, right? Website where you deployed. Where you deployed the website. In a server only, right? Server is nothing but what? It's a physical machine.
Okay, for each server, we will get one IP address.
Yes, that's correct. Each and every server, it could have some allocated IP address. Okay. If the
Okay,
server is, yeah, if the server is allocated, public IP address, anybody can communicate. If the server is private, if the server is allocated, private IP address, then nobody can communicate. So my local, my computer is also one server, but it's a local server.
Okay.
Got you. Google is the
Yeah.
remote server. That means
Okay.
remote server means Google is having public IP address. So you know the public IP address of Google so that we are connecting.
Okay.
Right.
If we are using Google, then our IP address will be like something like this. If we are using like Mozilla something, then our IP address will change again.
Our IP address is constant.
Okay.
This is not my addresses. This addresses are Google. This IP address belongs to Google, not to my computer. My computer address is what? If you want to know that your computer IP address, simply you can use the command is IP config. Okay. If I execute this command, you will get, the IP address. So 192.168.1.96. Okay. Same address your computer also might have it. You can try anyone. You can try to execute, IP config and tell me what is your IP address. You can comment. Now you can send in you can send your IP address in my chat, in a Zoom chat. Everyone. Guys, I'm asking you, send me your IP address.
It's
Chat.
different. It's different.
Different. Might someone have same also. So that's, I think you are using, Sanjay, I think you are using some 10.0.0.87. That's great. No, I think it's a private IP. Sania, I think you are using some, let me see. Yeah, 10.0.0.0, which is belongs to private IP. Might you are using, Sania, are you using any local machine? I mean, any
This is my
private IP?
laptop. This is my personal laptop.
But you have 10.0.0.87, right? Your IP address.
Yes.
How it is possible?
I don't know.
It's a private IP address.
No, but
yeah, it's a private IP address, but that private IP address which is belongs to class A, not to the class C. Actually, we are all class C. The range it could be like 192. Is everyone start with like 192.168 or not?
Yes.
So which means that we are all individuals, so that we are having the class C private IP addresses. Okay. If someone having the range is 10.0.0, which means that it's a large companies, or else it belongs to any company related mission. Is it right, Sania?
No, I am not with any company right now. Like,
but
this
how
is
you
not-
have the class A? How you have the class A IP address?
I really don't know. Maybe due to Mac FA or something like that.
Is it? Is there anyone 69.192.1?
Yes, Sanjay, for Mac, it's class A.
Yeah, Mac itself, it's a class A. Okay, someone is okay. even a class A, but 69, which is the 69.191.196. Okay, class A. Okay. But 69.191.196.183, which is public IP, right, Sindhu?
I
So
think
let me ping to Sindhu. Okay. So ping, the IP address is 69.151.196.183. Okay, ping. It's a ping, but 69 is belongs to request timeout. Okay, but it's not pinging. I don't know why. Requesting timeout. But 69, which belongs to the
When you use VPN or something like that, it will be changed.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, fine. Fine, guys. I want to go into the subject now. Okay, so I think everyone having some kind of range, mostly everyone having 192, right? So I already told you we have the three type of classes are there: class A, class B, and class C. And class A, which is allocated for the large based companies, and class B for medium based companies, and class C for individuals. Okay, so here the IP addresses are divided into two types. So there is a two type of IP addresses are there. One is private IP address, and the second one is public IP address. Okay, one is private IP address, and second one is the public IP address. Okay, the difference between the private IP address and public IP address is private IP address, it cannot be connected to the internet, and no one can connect directly. Okay, and we cannot connect internet directly. When coming to the public IP address, so anybody can communicate or through internet. Okay, right? I hope you understood. Let me give you some kind of how the private IP address are communicating, or how the private IP address are connecting to the internet. Okay, let me consider this is the internet. Okay, this is internet, right? So internet could be provided by the some kind of internet service providers, right? Internet service providers. It could be like an AT&T or Airtel or else Nokia, whatever it is. It's an internet service provider. Okay, so this internet service provider can have the access for internet things. So this internet service providers, they are sending some kind of fiber, right, with to your home. So the fiber which is having one IP address, the IP address is, it's a public IP address. Okay, and so this is your home. This is your home, right? Okay, in your home you have the router or not? You have the router, right? The router internally, which is a NAT gate. Okay, internally, which is having the NAT gate. That means network address translation. Okay, so this is your PC. This is your local PC, and it's a private IP address. And your local PCs, it could have the private IP addresses. I can show you the range of private IP addresses and the range of public IP addresses. Okay, and I'm just giving that intuition of how the private IP addresses are connecting to the internet. Okay, fine. So this private IP addresses will be sending the data to router. This is your private IP address, right? This is the NAT gate or the router. It can be converting private IP address to public IP address, so that what the data you're sending, for example, I want to get some information from internet. Okay, so you're send some kind of request. You send some kind of request from this IP address to this internet. That means Google. Okay, by the time this is the request, it is sent through router. The router which is converting this private IP, and so it was converting into this public IP. And now the data, it can be sent to the public IP through internet service providers, and it's sent to the internet, and we'll get some kind of information from the internet. And this information sending from internet service provider to router. Again, the router, it was converting public. This data could be sent to the private IP address. Then this PC can access your data. Okay, you can access the data from the internet. Is it clear or not? So this way, the private IP addresses can be connected, okay, to the internet. So here the range of, so you can see here we have the range of private IP addresses in class A, 10.0.0.02, 10.255.255.255. Okay, this is class A. And class B, in class B, the private IP address range is 192.16.0.02, 172.31.255.255. Okay. In class C, 192.168.0.02, 192.68.255.255. This is the range of IP addresses or private IP addresses. Okay. So same private IP addresses. Same private IP address, it could have the different people. Okay. It might have the different people. Okay. Is it clear? But public IP addresses could be differ person to person. It could not be same for two people. But private IP addresses could be same for two people or two different people. Even lakhs of people can use the same IP address if it is a private. Okay. So if it is a private IP address, we cannot connect it directly. That's the reason. So even it's a range of IP version 4, still it is available. Okay. Now I explained that how private IP address can connect to the internet, right? Now let me consider. I want to tell you one thing here. AWS. Okay, this is AWS, and in AWS, I want to install the 1,000 servers. I want to install the 1,000 servers. Okay, I want to install the 1,000 servers with some range of IP. I want to assigning the same range of IP. Same range, not same IP. Same range is different, same IP is different. Okay, range of IPs. Okay, so that means I'm running on particular company. I may need 100 servers for my organization needs. Okay, I want to install the 1,000 servers. Okay, so each and every server, it could have the IP address or not. Okay, how you are allocating the IP addresses to this on this particular AWS server? Okay, it is done by the subnetting, guys. So here we have the subnetting concept. Subnetting means if you want to allocate some range of IP addresses to the missions, then subnetting concepts could be there. How and how subnetting is working, I can explain you. For example, I need the 255 servers. I need 255 servers. Okay, with range of tell me 10.0.0 range. Okay, I need with this range. Okay, I need with this range 255 servers. That means which starts with 0.0.02 0.0.0255, right? So that way you can allocate the 255 IP addresses. We can allocate the 255 IP addresses. How we can allocate? So what we can do, actually mask. It could be like in a mask. Okay, so you have to mask this one, and you have to mask this one, and you have to mask this one. So here how many bits are there? 8 bits, right? Here how many bits are there? 8 bits, right? Here how many bits are there? 8 bits, right? 8 plus 8 plus 8. So total how much? It could be 24 or not. So that means if I'm giving that 10.0.00 by 24, which means that we are masking here, and you're masking here, and you're masking here. Once if you're masking, it could not be changed anymore. Okay, it could not be changed anymore. So that 10.0.0 and 0 and then 1, and so it could be like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the three things. It could not be changed. It could not be changed actually. So 10.10.0 only. So like this, we are allocating the 255. Is it clear? Is it clear or not? So one more time. For example, I need 64 servers. How many bits are there for 64, guys? So this is 64 is the decimal number, right? Can you convert into the 64 into the binary? Tell me, guys. Decimal to binary conversion.
128/2.
No, my question is that, what is the binary number for 64? Zero dot zero, sorry, 0,
1.
it's 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. This is 32
2 power 5.
and 1. Okay. So
Yeah.
total how many bits it is required for 64?
7.
7 bits are required, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Just 7 bits are required, right? Simply,
Yes.
you can mask like in a 7. You can, sorry, don't mask like a. So you required 7, right? So total, we have the 32 bit, right? 32 minus 7, how much?
25.
So I already told you IPv4, it could have the 32 bits. Okay. And you required the 64 servers. So 64 servers, if you required, then 64, what we can do, we can convert into the binary. When you're converting it to the binary, how many bits we required? We required the 7 bits, right? The 7 bits we can subtract from the 32. So once if you subtract from the 32, you will be getting how much?
25.
25, right? So this is the 25 is the subnet. So when you are allocated the 10.0.0.0 by 25, which means that we are allocating the 64 servers or 64 IP addresses with range of 10.0.0.0 and then 1, 2, 3, here 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. It can be generating the 60 till 63. So subnetting is very simple concept, guys. It's just we are assigning group of IP address. We are, we are allocating the group of IP address range that we are calling it's a subnetting. How we can allocating the, how we are, how we are accessing the IP address range. Okay. So this IPv4, it required the 32 bits. Sorry, it is exactly 32 bits. Okay. It's a 32-bit IP range. If you required the some number of servers, I need the 1000 servers. If you need the 1000 servers, okay, then convert into the 1000 into the binary. Tell me what is the value of the binary for 1000. This is my decimal number. I need the 1000 IP addresses. Then this 1000 you can convert into the binary. Tell me, guys. $255, $256. Sorry, it's a 5 tall. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Guys, you need to know how we can convert decimal to binary, binary to decimal. Okay. If you don't know that one, it could be very tough to understand. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 128, and 256, and 512, right? And this is 1024. Okay, 10. So 1000 is nothing but it's a less than the 1024, right? It means this range only. This many bits we require. I mean, this bit, the last bit, it could be like 1, 256, and 128. I don't know what exactly number it is. Okay, you can convert. But no, how many bits is required to representing the 1000? How many bits we require to representing the 1000?
11. 10. 10.
Okay. So 10. So simply you can assigning that 10, then it will allocating that many bits actually. Anyway, for simple understanding, we have the subnet calculator is there. Subnet calculator. Okay. So if you go for this one, and so in class A and class B and class C, for example, in class A, I want the some number of IP addresses. subnet calculator. Okay. So here you can select the class A. If you select the class A, you will get that range is 10.0, 10.0.0.0. Okay. Total mask, how many subnets you wanted? And for example, I want the 100 servers. Okay, 254. So if you click on the if you want the 100 servers, okay, like if you want the 126 servers, then click on the 126. Okay, and by the time you can see the IP address is 10.0.0 and the subnet is 17, right? So you can simply say that it's a 10.0.0.0 by 17. Okay. And the first number which starts with 10.0.0.0, and this is subnet ID or network ID, and this is the IP address we cannot use it. And here we have the broadcast ID, the AWS which is not using, and the first three IP addresses like 10.0.01 and 2 and 3, and we are not using. And the AWS could be used for some kind of internal things for maintaining of your account. I mean for maintaining of your network. Okay, so only the range of 10.0.4 to 126 only we can use it. This host address range only we can use it. Okay. So that's this way you can calculate, but don't worry, this is not your work. But usually it could be managed by the AWS admin guys. What they will do actually, so based upon the client requirement, how many IP addresses they require, that means that many IP addresses they can provide you. They can provide them with help of the subnet calculator. Okay. And fine. Now I would like to go for explaining about the importance of the IP address. This IP address, sorry, the importance of the VPC. So if you want to understand the VPC concept, and so this IP address and subnetting, we need to know that. So in a real time, when I'm going to be creating the VPC practically, then you will get to know that. Okay. For example, I want to explaining that the importance of the VPC. Okay. What is VPC? It's a virtual private cloud. So basically, I already told you cloud could be available in like a private cloud and public cloud, right? For example, it could be a public cloud. Let me difference between the public cloud and private cloud. Okay. So cloud means it could provide some kind of services, right? So if it is a public cloud, so anybody can use, anyone can use that. We are calling it say public cloud. Private cloud in the sense only authorized persons or else internal purpose. Internal people can use the public cloud. Okay. And we are not talking about private cloud because private cloud could be maintained by their own organizations. And we're talking about the public cloud. So here we have various service providers are there under the public cloud. And from that one, AWS is one service provider, and Azure is one service provider, and Google cloud computing is one service provider, right? So these are all public cloud service providers. But how the AWS vendor is providing this thing? I already told you, public cloud means anybody can use it, right? Let me consider this is the AWS infrastructure. So for example, this is one region. Okay. So under the region, we have the various availability zones, right? This is availability zone 1, and this is availability zone 2, and this is availability zone 3. Okay. Here we have the various availability zones are there. And as for the global infrastructure of the AWS, each and every availability zones are underlying, right? Underlying connection is there. Okay. For example, one company, they want to use some servers. They want to install some servers in availability zone 1, for example, here. And so this is one organization. Let me consider the name of the organization is, for example, Facebook. Okay. And they might have some IP addresses, and they're allocating the private IP address only. So every time we are going to be allocating the private IP addresses. Okay. For example, Google. So Google is one company, and they want to be install some IP address. They want to install some servers in availability zone. Okay. Here IP address. So here this Facebook and Google can be communicated to each other or not. Okay. So that means there it could have some kind of issue, that is security issue. Okay. So these two are communicated to each other. That means isolation. These two have some kind of isolation. Basically, Facebook is different company and Google is different company, right? But these two are isolation to each other because this is public service provider, public cloud. Okay. And moreover, so what the IP range you given, and the same IP range also could be provided to the Google also. Maybe it can use it, right? They don't have any kind of internal communication, right? Don't use this range of IP address. They don't use this range of IP address. Like that company is different and this company is different. Definitely, both it could some situation both it could use the same range. By the time IP addresses overlapping could happen. These two things could be managed by the VPC concept. Okay. So in AWS, we have the availability zones, and on top of the availability zones, all availability zones, they can install they can install some kind of logical boundary. The logical boundary we are calling it, say, VPC. VPC means virtual private cloud. So on top of the public cloud, okay, we are launching the virtual private cloud. So once if you're launching the virtual private cloud, on top of the VPC only, we have to go for installing the servers. So for example, this is VPC for the Facebook. Okay. And we would like to go for installing the one VPC. This is for Google. Okay. So, and here we have to go for installing some kind of servers. By the time this is virtual private cloud and this is virtual private cloud, right? So this way you can able to solve the issue of the security and isolation and IP address overlapping also. So even if you have the same IP address here, even if you have the same IP address here, there is no issue for us. Okay. So that way that is the importance of the VPC. Guys, so I just explaining that for today's session, IP address and subnetting and VPC importance. Okay, these three things we will see by implementation by tomorrow's session. Lab session we will see by tomorrow. If you have any question, please let me know. Any questions? All right. Thank you, guys. We'll meet tomorrow for continuation of the lab of VPC creations. So and using of IP address and subnetting. So we'll see by tomorrow's session. Bye. Take care.